Now it's time to make the gravy, which is the important part of the casserole. Key ingredient in the gravy is a Knorr stock cube.
Nice shorts.
Thank you. So I put 2 of those into the mixing jar. Now, the other ingredients for the gravy are here, apart from the Ribena. That's not gravy.
No Ribena?
No Ribena. Not after last time. Okay, so you've got the stock pots. Stock pot. Next thing you need is McFarland's sauce.
That's from what country?
Why don't you tell us?
Can't you tell us? Can't
I
you read?
But it would be much more fun if the director told us what country McFarland's comes from.
I think everyone can read it. Apart from the cook.
I can't pronounce that word, I just choose not to. Anyway, want 2 tablespoons of it.
Nice wrist action.
Thank you. Now you'll notice I'm using a measuring spoon. This cooking, while it is a science, does not have to be a precise science. You don't need to measure exactly. I think it's 15 millilitres of everything.
What's that in proper measure?
I don't know. It's 1 tablespoon.
Oh, 1 tablespoon.
I already said 1 tablespoon. Anyway, so we've had 2 tablespoons of McFarland's. Now I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Because that is what the shop had. You can use any olive oil for this. The purpose of the olive oil is to add richness to the gravy.
Not for lubrication.
No. The McFarland's adds flavour, as does the rich beef stock pot. None of these things should be tasted directly in the gravy. And that if you're eating the casserole and you can taste lots of olive oil, that means you've put too much olive oil in. But all of these things should work together to sort of enhance the flavour. Similarly, if you can taste the McFarland's Worcestershire. So I got it right. Oh, what a day! If you can taste the Worcestershire sauce, you've put too much in. But you should be there should be a contribution somewhere. Next thing that goes in is tomato puree. Again, 2 tablespoons of tomato puree.
Where'd you get that? I can't quite see the label.
Got that from Tesco, but other brands of supermarket exist, such as Sainsbury's, Marks and Spencer's, and Richardson's. And I know it's fun squeezing out the bottle, the tube, but you just put 2 in, you don't put the entire tube in. So that is all the wet ingredients. I'm just going to put the measuring spoon into the sink. The next thing that goes in is flour. The flour is what makes the gravy thick. If you didn't put the flour in, you'd end up with watery gravy. You can use regular plain flour, or you can use corn flour. If you're using corn flour, use less of it. I don't put a particularly scientific amount in. I just put in 2 scoops. I don't know how much is in this 1 scoop, but I would usually put 2 in. There we go. Now, this is the point at which I get gung-ho, because I've got a hand blender. If you were doing this without a hand blender, the next thing you would do would be add a small amount of hot water and keep stirring it with a fork to keep everything smooth. And then gradually add more and more hot water till you've got probably about a litre of hot water. Because I'm using a hand blender, I can put all the hot water in and then the hand blender will get all the lumps out, so I don't have to worry about keeping it smooth. I'm going to put some hot water in.
That looks absolutely vile.
Wait till you see it mixed. Okay, I've got my hand mixer. I think that's as blended as we're going to get it. Just a minute. Just going to disconnect that end, and I'm going to pour it all into the casserole. You want to get it reasonably even across the casserole, but it doesn't need to be too even. One of the wonderful things about casserole is it sits in the oven for 3 hours. So over that time, it's slowly boiling. It will mix, so any inconsistencies or any funny bits will all be absorbed in. I'm going to rinse the jar with more hot water, because I will need to add more hot water to that, and more of the gravy mixture that we get into the casserole, the more flavour we will have. Now, you can see there, I've more or less covered all of the ingredients with water. Just stir it around a bit. Push everything down in. So, next thing to do is put the lid on it. Oh, yes, we can also add thyme if we want to. Again, I just sprinkle dried thyme over the top. How much I'm putting on, depending on how good my sense of smell is on the day. I think they call that adding thyme to taste. So I'm going to put the top on that. Okay, and now this goes into the oven at 200 Celsius for about 3 hours. Check on it every hour or so to make sure the water hasn't boiled down.